Howdy, welcome. I hope that you guys are doing well. Looks like it is taking LinkedIn a bit of a time to get connected, but I'm going to stay in the studio. Listen, welcome to the Radical Godly Stewardship Podcast. As you all know, I am working to move to a new platform. So last week I tested this out. Today I'm testing it out again. So if I seem like a little, discombobulated. That's why, but I'm going to get it together soon, okay? I promise you I'm going to get it together soon. But welcome to episode 72, where we are talking about times, seasons, and strategy. Times, season, and strategy. And today, specifically, we're going to be looking at what a new Fed chair and retiring boomers mean for your money. And it may seem like those two things are one is way over here and one is way over there, but we are going to put it all together for you as soon as we come back from our intro. All right, see you soon. Hey there, wealth saving and investing. And I'm First Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, saying that finances is not a set forgiveness. Hey there, welcome to the Radical Godly Stewardship Podcast. I am Dr. Lexi Johnson, and this is where heaven's economy collides with Earth's assignments. I am your host. I already said that, but I'm also your financial rebel, your kingdom disruptor, and your accountability coach into obedience. Listen, I see what kind of day this is going to be where I'm fumbling all over my words. Okay. Listen, so around here, we don't beg God for money. No, that is not what we do. We align, we obey, we produce, we multiply, we dominate, right? And if you're ready to steward well, think boldly, and build kingdom wealth, then you are in the right place. And let's dive in. So, today, there are two major things happening right now that most people are not connecting. Okay, most people are not connecting this. So, on one side, we have a potential shift in leadership at the Federal Reserve with Kevin Warsh being discussed as the possible chair, right? On the other side, we have a massive demographic shift as the younger portion of the baby boomer generation begins exiting the workforce in larger numbers. And most people are looking at these things as, just kind of separate happenings. But today, we're going to connect these two things, okay? Because they are not random. Okay, this is timing, this is seasons, this is positioning. And today we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about what a new Fed chair could mean for the economy. We're going to talk about how policy decisions eventually hit your personal finances. That's right. We're going to talk about what's happening with baby boomers right now and where the money is going to flow next and how kingdom citizens recognize seasons and move accordingly. But first, before we do that, for those of you who have been watching for some time, you know that it is time for our stewardship check in because we always want to make sure that we are being good stewards with what the Lord has given us, right? Whether it is little, whether it is medium, whether it's much, whether it's massive, whatever it is that the Lord has given us in this day and time, we want to make sure that we're being good seasons. I told y'all it's going to be a day for me fumbling over my words. We want to make sure that we are being good stewards. All right. Now, as we prepare to do this stewardship check in, I want to invite you to tag someone in the comments, let them know that we're here. Share this out on your platform, okay? I know that there are people who are interested in hearing this. or need to hear this. Okay. So do me a favor, do that, like, share, all those good things. You on YouTube, like, share. If you are on Facebook, you know, share, tag some people, whatever the case may be. Let's do our stewardship check in. So, the first question that I have for you is this: Are you, or you can ask yourself this question, am I paying attention to the shifts, or am I just reacting to the outcomes? Because listen, by the time it shows up in your bank account, it is already too late to position. Are you guys hearing me? Okay. So, some of these things that are going on in the economy, a lot of these things that are going on in the economy, the headlines behind the headlines and stuff, we have a tendency not to pay attention to those things. You know, it's like, oh, leave those to the people who are really into money, who are into economics, and not leave it to them, the investors. No, but all of us need to be paying attention to those, because typically what happens is you're not paying attention. Someone said in my class Tuesday night, you know, the heads are in a bucket, right? You're not paying attention. And by the time you realize what's going on, it's too late. Okay. So if we want to be good stewards, we have to be paying attention. Number two, do I understand how government decisions affect my household? Okay. Because they do. All right. And not emotionally, right? I think we have that down, the emotional part, where, you know, everybody is spewing forth their opinions on what side is better than the other side. And, you know, do we, you know, who likes this president, who doesn't? And, you know, we're all upset about things that he might say, has said, will do, hasn't done, all of these things, right? There's a lot of emotion going on. Okay. But kingdom citizens don't have, I'm not going to say we don't have a place in those conversations. We cannot be distracted by those conversations, okay? You will not see me in social media commenting in those types of, um, posts, and making those types of posts or commenting on those types of posts, because the truth of the matter is, for me, it don't matter who the president is, okay? I'm trying to figure out, because the president is in there, okay? I'm trying to figure out what needs to be done. How do I need to position myself, okay, as this person is leading, and as we have whatever Congress, the House, whomever we have in position right now? What do I need to be doing? Okay. So, not emotionally. We need to understand how government decisions affect us so that we can be strategic. All right. And the third question that I am wondering, or that you can ask yourself, is: Am I studying seasons, or am I just living through them? Okay? Because there is a difference. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, that to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. All right? That's some real stuff. All right, so as we go into part one, let us now determine like what a new Fed chair could mean. And let's start with the Federal Reserve. Okay. Now, the Federal Reserve, I'm going to say this really quickly because there are many people who still don't know this. I know I have taught on this before, but it's been some years. And actually, you can go back and see my podcast even from years ago, right? You can go to my YouTube channel, at Money Mastery for Her. Money Mastery, the number four, her. And you will find all of my old podcasts because I've been here for a while. Okay. So, anyway, the Federal Reserve is not an entity, an organization that is run by the government. It sounds like it because it's got the name federal in it, but it is an independent agency. Okay. So that's all that I'm going to say about that right now, because then that would take me way down a road that you should probably know about, but I think you can go and look that up and figure out like who runs the Federal Reserve and how it works and how they work with the government and all of that, but they aren't the government. Okay. I want to talk about today, Kevin, Warsh, if Kevin Warsh steps into leadership, right? Because Jerome Powell's on his way out, and Kevin Warsh is now going through a confirmation process, right? To see if he is the new chair. So we could see shifts, okay? Anytime there is a new regime that comes in, a new leader, you're likely going to see some shifts, okay? And so you can see shifts in the interest rate strategy, right? Some are thinking that Kevin Warsh will be someone who is a yes person to Trump. And if that is the case, then it may be that the interest rates are going to come down. Okay. But while that is good news on one hand, it's not so good on the other hand. And we'll talk more about that later. But, and again, this is the assumption, right? He could get in and not necessarily be like a yes person trying to enact everything that Trump would have him to. Because again, the Federal Reserve is a is a independent entity. And he could decide the interest rates are staying where they are, which would be a problem, right? Or they're going higher, which would also be a problem. So that will shift. What else will shift if he takes the chair? Well, the inflation control approach will shift, okay? And economic priorities are also going to shift. So let's simplify this a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit of what the Fed does. What the Fed controls is the cost of borrowing money. Okay. So if you've been wondering, like, who sets the interest rates for automobiles, for your mortgage, for loans, anything, just about anything you're financing, it is the Fed. Okay. They control the cost of borrowing. They also control the flow of money. So when we talk about inflation, that's what we're talking about. When inflation is high, then people tighten up, right? Because prices of things have gone up. And so the flow of money is a little bit tight. It's stricter. But if the interest rates go down and some other things, go down, then you're going to see people doing more spending. Okay. So the Fed controls that. They know just what to do to increase spending in the economy or decrease spending in the economy. Okay. They control the pace of the economy. Okay. So they control the cost of borrowing, rather. They control the flow of money. They control the pace of the economy. Okay. Now, Warsh has historically, he has leaned toward being very cautious about inflation. He has emphasized discipline and monetary policy, and he has also demonstrated concern about long term economic stability. And so there has been discussion, of course, around addressing the U.S. debt. When is there not discussion around that? However, there's been talk really about getting that paid down aggressively, right? There's also been discussion around leveraging economic growth and innovation like AI, and using AI as part of long term solutions, even for paying down the debt, y'all. See, we think these things are just happening in isolation, and they're not. So, what could this mean for you if the leadership shifts in that direction? If Warsh is confirmed, what does this mean? Well, if he is as, you know, um, cautious about interest rates as he says he is, the interest rates may stay where they are. They may stay higher for longer. Okay. If he is a yes man to Trump, then they will probably like come down. So we kind of have to see what he's going to do, right? But if the interest rates stay higher longer, then that means that borrowing will continue to be expensive. So what does that mean? People are, you're not going to see much buying homes, automobiles, all these big, taking out loans from the banks, which is not the greatest news for banks, right? Because this is one of the ways in which they make money, right? So borrowing is going to stay expensive. Credit is going to stay tight. And this is going to be interesting because the rates on things are going up, people maybe who have variable mortgage rates, adjustable mortgage rates, all of that, or if you've got variable loans and that kind of thing, it may not be great news for you. You may be paying more, and that may cause you to use credit cards, right? Or because the interest rates are really high, the banks may be doing less giving out of loans, right? So people will then turn to credit cards to try to take care of things, which is that's not going to be great, right? So the credit debt across the U.S. households may go up. We're also going to see pressure remaining on consumers, right? Because nothing is easing up, right? Nothing is easing up. So, which leads me to my next point of what could possibly happen if he gets into office, which is less easy money. Okay, less easy money. So we're not going to see the aggressive stimulus style support. That is, unless that is, as long as he is, what he's portraying, what he's saying in these confirmation hearings so far. If he follows through with that, this will be the case. But again, if he gets in and he caters to Trump, we're going to see the opposite, right? But if he's going to do what he says that he's going to do, then we're not going to see very aggressive stimulus style support. Okay. That means people are going to have more responsibility for taking care of, the tight situation that they're in. There's going to be less reliance on policy rescue. Okay. And stimulus is a form of policy rescue. Okay. The third thing that we can see is if he takes office, is AI as an economic lever. Okay. So if AI is leaned into as a productivity solution, that means jobs can shift. There will be increased efficiency, higher corporate profitability. Okay. But also more pressure on traditional income streams. Now, I know that there are a contingent of people who are out there and who are afraid because they feel like AI is taking over people's jobs. AI is not necessarily taking over people's jobs without creating new opportunities, right? So it's just a matter of, hey, this is not may not be available to you anymore, but are you preparing yourself, positioning yourself for the new things that are going to come about? Okay. If you know how to program AI, how to use AI, how to, whatever, then you can transition from a more traditional income stream to, something newer that is coming along. Okay. So, as kingdom citizens, we don't need to be afraid, of AI. Oh my gosh, it's coming to take all the jobs. No, certain jobs, yes, we're going to phase this out because AI is going to be able to do it more efficiently. However, right? On the other hand, there are going to be other things that open up. So we just need to prepare ourselves and be ready to be positioned or to get in those positions, right? Which that should always be the case for us, whether we know what's coming or not. We should always be in a position of where we are continuously learning. We should always be in a position, right? But what happens is people get in, where they think that this is my spot and this is going to be my spot for the rest of eternity, right? And then they get comfortable there. They're not paying attention to the economy, to the headlines, to the times, to the seasons, so that they can strategize and be in position. And by the time everything hits, then now it feels like, oh, it's an AI takeover or something like that, right? So here's what matters though. We can't control policy, right? I can't control it. You can't control it. But we are responsible for preparing for it. Okay. And too many of us, as I have already said, we are waiting for the rates to drop. We're waiting for the policies to change. We're waiting for the relief to come. But as kingdom citizens, we are not waiting, okay? We are not to be waiting. We are to prepare. That's what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be making adjustments right now, not waiting for the shoe to drop and then standing around trying to figure out, oh, the shoe dropped. Well, do we pick it up? Do we move it over? Right? No, that's stuff that we're supposed to be doing right now so that when the shoe does drop, whatever shoe it is, right? It's a good shoe, bad shoe, I don't know. Whatever shoe it is, we'll be ready. Okay? All right. So um I want to talk now about the baby boomer shift, right? That's what I want to talk about right now. And this is just as powerful as the conversation as we're having about the new Fed chair, okay? So you have the younger baby boomers now who are retiring, and that number is going to grow dramatically here over the next few years. They're retiring, they're downsizing, right? And they're transitioning in terms of their lifestyles, right? And this is going to create a massive economic movement, massive, because they, in and of themselves, are huge in number, okay? So, what this shift creates is number one, a housing turnover. Now, why am I sharing this stuff with you all? Because we need to be paying attention because these are opportunities, all right? So it's going to create a housing turnover. Likely more homes are going to be sold because they're downsizing, they're relocating, right? They're retiring. Some of them might retire on off to Florida somewhere or other places, right? Maybe California, right? But their homes are being sold. They're going to downsize. They're relocating. They might be, moving more in. Some of them may be going into assisted living homes. Some may be into full fledged nursing homes. Okay. And so this impacts the real estate supply significantly, right? The pricing dynamics, the investment opportunities that are going to become available. And because if things are going to go as we think they're going to go, there's going to be, a lot of houses on the market, right? And so when there is a lot of supply, right, guess what? The pricing, right, is going to come down, and that's going to be good for those of us who are in position, right, to do some real estate investing, right? That's going to be awesome. You can do real estate investing that is, where you physically have these properties. Maybe you're renting, maybe you're going to fix and flip, whatever. Or you can invest like in real estate investment trusts. And let me just say this while I'm talking about this. I'm not saying any specific investment or not, but let me just say educational purposes only, okay? I am not your financial advisor. I do not know your personal finances, so don't go running off making decisions, because, oh, Dr. Lexi said, I don't know you. Okay, don't know you. I don't know your finances, all right? I'm just saying, in general, what we need to be paying attention to and what's possibly coming down the pike and some advantages that you may want to, keep your ear open for and talk to your financial professionals about how you can be positioned for some of these things, okay? So, yeah, the real estate supply, there's going to be a lot of it. Pricing dynamics is going to shift, and then there's going to be investment opportunities that open up because of this. Um, there's going to be an increased demand for care. So this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of growth of assisted living, nursing care, home health services. So if you are someone who has been thinking about starting a home health service business, um, getting some property so you can do nursing care or you can do assisted living or something like that, this is the season, okay? This is the season to get in there and get prepared, okay? So they're also going to have lifestyle shifts, right? And so that means that their spending is going to shift as well. Okay. Um, they are going to spend more in healthcare. They're going to spend more possibly for convenience. They are going to spend more for support services. They're going to spend more in estate planning. And there's other places, that they're going to be spending more simply because they are making a shift in their lifestyle. These are the things that we need to be thinking about, right? As the a kingdom citizen who invests, right, or who runs businesses and all of that, we always need to be thinking about where the money is flowing. Okay, where's the money flowing? All right, now let's talk strategy, right? And I've been talking a little bit about this already. There are going to be investment opportunities, right? You've got, as I mentioned earlier, your real estate investment trust. So you might want to get in there and invest in a couple of those that are focused on assisted living and senior housing. Okay. I know for a fact that I personally am going to be doing that. I already invest in real estate investment trusts. And so now I'm just going to, put some money in those that are focused on these areas: assisted living, senior living, medical facilities, you know, also, the healthcare sector. We talked about this: elder care services, medical equipment, home health companies. These are companies that you either want to invest in or that you want to start. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur with interest in these areas, and not just interest, because we're kingdom citizens, also the calling, in these areas, right? Dividend paying companies. Okay. Because retirees need income and they're going to prioritize their stability, right? You also might want to, again, look at, as I mentioned earlier, look at real estate direct or indirect. So there's going to be opportunities because of the downsizing markets. There's going to be rental demand. Listen, in this season with everything going on, if even if Warsh gets in and let's say he does accommodate Trump and lower interest rates, right? Rental rates aren't going anywhere. Okay. They are not going anywhere. They are going to be high and higher yet. And so there's going to be a demand for rentals, right? Because, and we've started to see it already, where there are people now who are homeless because they can't afford rents. They don't qualify for mortgages. It's hard for them now to get jobs because jobs require you to have an address, or even places with support services say, oh, you got to have an address. Can you see the conundrum that is going on? And so there will be opportunities in the rental market. Okay. So if you can get in there and you can have rents at a sweet spot, okay, that allow for people to be able to afford rent, right, and live life, you can do all right. I'm thinking about things like duplexes, right? But it don't have to be duplexes. I mean, there are, anyway, there's opportunities for that. Senior friendly housing, right? That's something that you might want to consider, especially if you're someone who is into real estate in a direct way, right? You have properties, you want to accumulate properties, or whatever, and you are a little bit entrepreneurial. I told you guys, this is a day I'm going to be fumbling all over my words. Maybe I should stop saying that, and then I won't be fumbling over my words. Let me stop saying that. So anyway, senior friendly housing. Okay. Um, there are business and side hustle opportunities that we should be paying attention to. And um, this is how you position yourself. In this time, right now, is when you begin positioning yourself. Listen, errand services. There was someone that I knew some years ago in Indy who was starting a business for. in errand services. And, at that time, who knows, some people may have needed it. I think particularly she was looking to deal with, busy parents, which was a good thing because that was going on, right? But now, right, with all of these boomers coming out of the workplace and moving and downsizing and needing assistance and all of that kind of thing, errand services, transportation services, in home assistance, okay? All of these things. You can help people declutter. You can help people move. You can help people organize. You can help people sell assets. There is so much that can be done, so many ways that you can, get a little piece of the pie if you're paying attention. You can also do like home modification services, right? Some of them may not be moving out of their homes, but they want to make their homes more accessible. They want their homes to be safe, more age friendly, right? So that's an area. Always, in financial and administrative support, there are opportunities there so you can help families with their paperwork, with the budgeting, with coordination. Just so much is available. Real estate wholesaling. Listen, that's an industry that I'm in, and I'm telling you, I think that can find a place in almost any, in almost anything. But it's going to be huge because boomers are going to be selling, right? And we have an opportunity to help them as wholesalers. We have an opportunity to help them to get their houses sold quicker, get cash for it. And this is cash that they can use for the assisted living that they're going to live in, right? I just did this. Um, I did one like this a couple years ago, a wholesale deal I did a couple years ago. Um, Obviously, this wasn't a boomer, but it was a boomer that was helping uh, her mother, right? Who now could not take care of the home anymore, or anything like that. She needed to move it to a nursing home, and they were selling the home because they needed to get the cash, to help pay for the nursing home, right? So there's a huge selling opportunity there. Okay, Ecclesiastes 8:5 says, "The wise heart will know the proper time and procedure." And this is what we're talking about today: timing, discernment, movement. Okay, this is not about taking advantage of people. No, this is not what this is. This is about serving real needs. This is about solving real problems, stewarding opportunity wisely, right? So, big picture, right? Let me connect this for you. Policy shifts affect money flow, demographic shifts affect the demand, right? Technology shifts are going to affect income. And when those three things align, that is where wealth is built, people. So, this is a great season. If you want to build wealth, the opportunity is now. Everybody is talking about this big wealth transfer. It's not this event where it's going to have a big old sign saying it's wealth transfer time. No, this is it, right? And this, there'll be other times, but this is one of those times, okay, where you can get a piece of the pie. So, if this episode is opening your eyes and if you are realizing that you need to think differently and move differently, then it's time to go deeper. Yes, go deeper. And you can do that with my book, Stop Begging God for Money. Okay, this book is going to help you to break passive thinking. It's going to help you to understand stewardship at a higher level. It's going to help you move from reaction to strategy. And so make sure you get your copy. It's at authorlexijohnson.com. Author, AUTHOR, Lexi, LEXI, Johnson, JOHNSON.com. Grab your book today. Grab a copy of your book today. Okay. So, what am I saying? I don't want you to miss out on the opportunities because you think they aren't there. They are there, right? I don't want you to miss this season because you don't recognize it. Your head is in a bucket somewhere, okay? I don't want you to just live through this time and then react when it's too late. I want you to discern it. I want you to get positioned in it, and then I want you to move in it. Okay? That's what I want you to do. So, again, grab a copy of my book. If the book is too expensive for you at this time, Um, if the book is too expensive for you at this time, then you know you can subscribe on. If you're on Facebook, you go to my personal page, Lexi Mrs. Worldwide Johnson. Tap the subscribe button. It's 99 cents a month, right? And I will be helping you every step of the way through subscriber only content, helping you to get positioned for opportunities like this. All right. So I've been Dr. Lexi Johnson and reminding you, right, that we are here to produce, we are here to multiply, and we are here to dominate. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, Let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode. What questions do you have? Um, I'm just, I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Okay, guys. I don't know if I think I'm still live, but I'm trying to close everything out. There we go. See you guys. I done pressed the button early on myself and everything. Anyway, y'all get it right. Love y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.